All right, guys, what's going on? Nick here again. We're going to do a quick video about three things you should do to convert more new subscribers with your email marketing. First, number one, don't stop your welcome flow too early. Number two, add a brand story email to build trust. And three, add a competitor comparison email to justify your price. So we're going to go over this with a few examples. So I came across this brand. It's called High Specs. They sell basically protective sunglasses. And I subscribed to their emails. I noticed a few things. They do have a pretty solid setup right now. They have good urgency in the welcome flow. The design is all right. And then they do have good social proof. But a few problems I noticed, or I shouldn't say problems. I should say, gaps. You can take advantage of. Their welcome flow ends a little too quickly, and well, basically everything that I went over up there. So that's a big deal because most people don't buy after just one or two emails. So I decided to create them two extra for free. So I don't actually work for them. I just found them on the internet. I made these two on my own, and I actually sent it to them off. I sent these off to them already for them to use if they want to. So current strategy right now of theirs, what they do well, like I mentioned earlier, kind of repeating myself a little here, but just to state it again, what they did well, you can read through, what they can improve, basically the opposite. So let's take a look real quick at their emails. So we got their initial welcome flow. One thing, a minor thing I would take out is just the um, like the buttons up here at the top. You move those more towards the bottom. You don't want to have any distractions up top. You want them to do one thing when they first open the email, and that's click the shop now button to go use their discount. So take that out. But they welcome them. They mention kind of what they're about. That's why we made them so stylish and comfortable that you'll forget you're even wearing them. That's like the main benefit of their product. It's like safety glasses that also look good and don't look like shit, basically. So then they give them their discount right away above the fold, which is good, nice and big. They have actually they list the expiry date, which most brands don't do. It's just that they should extend that a little bit longer. They tell them exactly how to use it, which is also good. And then they have a pretty good brand voice. It's not like generic, so I like that about them right off the bat. And then they have some social proof at the bottom. Only thing I do differently here is just put in another call to action down at the bottom. And then we got our second email. You can see same hero image and everything. So it does get a little, I don't want to say boring, but if you open the email yesterday and then they send another one the next day and looks exactly the same, you might click off, right? So this one's just, they kind of mention the main benefit of buying the product. So I'll go over here. They give them a reminder of the discount, which is great. And they kind of talk about, the reason for like why you should buy their product. Finally, a pair of safety glasses that doesn't scream, "I'm here to fix your roof." So the main buying motivator is that they are good-looking safety glasses, and people want to run away from looking, bad or I guess bad is just just the best way to say it. Looking bad in their like generic scratched up safety glasses, and they want to go to looking like good, like normal sunglasses. They feel good and confident wearing them. This product is like targeted at people who work like in the trades, or they have like a hobby like that that's very hands on, right, or outdoors, and so they don't want to look, again, for lack of a better description, stupid or like non non confident wearing the safety glasses because they have to with whatever they're doing. They do have these icons down at the bottom, which is good. It's always to mention if you do have free shipping, you should always mention that because that's a big selling point. And again, with the return policy as well. So, last email, they increase the discount amount. So they say, hey, last reminder, what's up to 15 since you haven't purchased yet, basically, and then more social proof again. So let's go over my process. So before creating any new emails at all, I always start with research. So I looked into their competitors. I grabbed a bunch of reviews from both them and their competitors, compiled it into a big document so I can figure out customer desires, competitors, and their pitfalls and everything you need to know about your ideal customer, as much as I can, anyways, without actually being a part of this company and actually speaking with the customers, right? So, like I said, yeah, the goal is always the same: fill the gaps that the customer is that are holding the customer back from buying. That is the idea with the research, so that we can then communicate how our product solves that gap. So the new emails I created: brand story / founders note. So basically, why this brand exists, their mission, a few customer reviews at the bottom to back it up, and then a reminder of the discount. This works because it puts a face to the brand, and you don't actually have to put your face out there if you don't want to, because I know some brand owners don't, but you should still tell the story behind your brand. You don't have to mention yourself necessarily. Just humanizes it a little bit, right? And builds trust and connection, before buying a purchase. So, because unless it's like a really, really cheap product, most people, they're hesitant before spending any decent amount of money, and they want it to be, a brand that they know they can trust. Second email, us versus them email. So this is positions the brand as the obvious choice. So inside we have an infographic style chart, the benefits versus how the brand's benefits versus the cheap alternatives, or just alternatives in general. We feature the highlights, which you can read there. And then we have a call to action again with a reminder of the discount. This works because customers often do shop around. Think yourself, when you're looking for something, usually comparing at least two options. So this kind of justifies the higher price, shows why it is a little more than the competitors. And then, reinforces the urgency with the expiring discount. So let's take a quick look. So we'll do, since we left off on the us versus them. So this is the us versus them email. We have our headline, subheadline, nice photo of the product that blends to the top and to the bottom and to the rest of the email. So it flows very nicely. Then we point out all of the important features and benefits that the customers care about with these glasses. A reminder of the discount. Call to action doesn't seem big. Added a little bit of depth with the button. And then we just basically go over the main benefit, kind of how they did in those other emails. So it's fine to borrow the cheapies once in a while, but let's be real, safety glasses don't have to be a fashion disaster. So that's what customer wants to get away from, is looking bad to looking good and be comfortable as well. If you've ever tried cheap safety glasses, they don't actually are not very comfortable to wear for very long. Then we have a sub headline to break everything up, ditch the $2 safeties, and then our nice infographic chart. So this is a nice way to quickly compare the two options, nice and easily. It's very visual, not a ton of copy. Yeah, and then a reminder again at the bottom. And we have a nice footer. I made a nice footer for them here. So we still have part of their original footer, but then I added in this section here with just the buttons that they can go through in case there is something specific that they want to look at or read about. And then we have our story email, why we made high specs. Headline is nice, big, it's clear. And then we mention what the customer is trying to get away from again. So even though this is a story email, we still try to make it about the customer, because that's the only way not the only way, but customer cares about himself, right? So we make it relatable by saying, hey, we also dreaded wearing crappy safety glasses. We are like you, and we had the same experience. We have our hero image up here. Kind of like this effect that I did. So I basically just layered the image twice, expanded the one underneath for a nice background. And then we just have the story. So I break it up with a few images throughout, subheadlines to bold so you can skim easily, and then just a reminder of the discount. And then, it tells the story. I have it in the brand voice of the actual founder and the brand. So they start off with why they started the company, or why he started, why he made the products to start with. It's because he dreaded wearing crappy safety glasses. Then we go through what he did, and then, so that experience led to him starting it, and this is, what we've been through. This is where we are now. Reminder of the discount. So tells the story, and it relates to makes it relatable to the customer by sharing that journey. So that's those two. I think I have a few more things down here. Yeah, the main takeaway is just don't stop your welcome flow too early. You need to have like those two emails are very important. So we got the brand story and the comparison email. These fill the biggest gaps in this specific brand's funnel to help move customers forward from curious to an actual buyer. So if you want me to help you build emails like this for your brand, I'll leave my contact info in the description. You can book a call and we can have a chat. So that's all for this one. Leave comments down below with what you think.